Someone cut you off in traffic, and now you are suddenly spiraling about everything that's wrong with your life. Sound familiar? Welcome back to I'm Not Trigger the podcast. I'm your host, Adrian Purchase, and I'm so glad you're here today because today we're going to continue our DBT skills series and we're covering emotion regulation. I don't want to waste your time, so let's just jump in. Here's what no one tells you about emotional hijacking, right? It's not your fault, but it is your responsibility to fix it. So I've struggled with PTSD and emotional spirals for years. I have BPD, I've been to war, I have anxiety, all of the things, right? But what I'm about to show you are 3 DBT skills that literally saved me from days long anxiety spirals and shame spirals. You're not broken. You're not crazy. Your brain is doing exactly what it's designed to do. It's protecting you. It's protecting you from threats. Now, the problem is that it can't tell the difference between a saber-toothed tiger and a passive-aggressive email. So this is called the emotional snowball effect. One tiny trigger, maybe a criticism at work or something that was said on social media in a comment, or maybe even just being hungry, your brain goes, oh my God, danger, danger. This means that you're failing at life. You're terrible. Everyone hates you and you will die alone with cats. Does that sound dramatic? Well, of course it sounds dramatic, but your amygdala, your little executive control center in your brain, does not think that is dramatic. That is what happens when our brain thinks we're under attack. So what's the good news? Well, I'm going to show you exactly how to interrupt this pattern. And yes, it works when you're already in the middle of a spiral. That's the beauty of it. So the first skill here to use is the stop skill. We're just going to stop. And I literally mean stop. We take a step back. We observe what's happening. And then we proceed mindfully through it. So last week, my editor sent some feedback, right? And my brain was like, she thinks I'm trash at writing. I should trash this entire project and start over again. And I could just feel the spiral starting. But the pit in your stomach, you get your heart racing and your mind's jumping ahead to, I should just quit writing altogether. Well, instead of following that rabbit hole, I literally was like, stop, just stop. What are you doing? Right? And I was like, what are the actual facts here? Well, the facts were that she sent me some feedback with suggestions, and that's a normal thing. That's the whole point of having an editor. That's her whole job, right? And she's helping me improve to make sure that the content that I'm giving is in alignment with my mission. And what the narrative in my head immediately was she hates my writing. I'm terrible at this and I should just give up. But the thing is when I realized I was about to have a 3-day shame spiral over very helpful feedback from somebody trying to help me. So try this, right? Ask yourself, what would I tell my best friend if they were in this situation that I'm in right now? Because we're usually much kinder to others than we are to ourselves. So skill 2 is going to feel really weird at first, but it's called opposite action. And I first heard about this in CBT, but this is also a wonderful DBT skill. And essentially, every emotion that we have comes with an urge. That's kind of the point of emotion, is for us to do something with it. So if you're sad, well, you isolate. If you're angry, you attack or shut down. If you're anxious, avoid everything. If you're feeling shame, hide, right? But here's the thing. Acting on these urges makes that emotion stronger. That's not what we want. We don't want this bad feeling to be bigger, right? We want to lessen our suffering. So opposite action means doing the literal opposite of what that emotion wants you to do. I was on family vacation recently and my wife and I got into a bit of a disagreement, and old me, before all the DBT, definitely kicked in because I definitely wanted to throw an adult tantrum, and I kind of did. I was like, well, you have fun at the lake. I'm not going to go. They did. They literally went to the lake because my wife is great at not enabling my shenanigans. And I stood at the lake house and I looked and I could see them at the water, and everything in me told me to go hide and cry and be sad and feel the shame and the guilt and whatever feelings I was feeling. But instead, I put my clothes on and I went down to the lake and ended up having a fine time, right? So in that instant, in that moment, did a lot for me, but it did a lot for my relationship too, because had I chosen just to stay inside at the lake house for the rest of the day, like we're on vacation as a family and I'm deciding, because we had a disagreement, I'm deciding that I'm just gonna isolate myself away from the family, and then I wonder why I'm lonely and don't feel like I'm part of the family. So by doing the harder, much harder thing, opposite thing than just hiding and isolating, and going down to the lake and spending time with my family, that also taught me and my silly brain that I actually can have conflict with someone that I love very much and still go and spend time with them, even if I'm still feeling some of those feelings, from the conflict. Like, it's okay. And I think that was a much more effective way to handle my distress in that moment versus just isolating and hiding and avoiding everyone. What are some practical examples of this opposite action thing for you? Well, let's say anxiety will say cancel plans, right? But how about we go anyway and we engage fully and see how it goes, see how we feel. Depression says stay in bed. We don't need to get up and see the world today. We're fine right here. Well, maybe instead you get up and you put your clothes on and you go for a walk. That's all you have to do today, right? Anger will say, send that text, say that nasty thing. But instead, we maybe put our phone down and take a deep breath. Okay, so those are literal examples of what to do when we have the urge to tell somebody to off, which I want to do all the time when I'm driving, don't you? And instead, you're like, right? Because what else is there to do? We could get upset and have road rage. What's the point of that, though? What does that actually solve? What does that do? Gets me more upset, probably. Then we have ABC and please, again with the acronym. But ABC, please, you can think of it like this. This is like building emotional armor before we actually need to even put it on. So when we're physically run down, we're hungry, we're exhausted, we're stressed from work, we're emotionally tired, our emotional capacity kind of crashes. And then we become way more susceptible and vulnerable to the spirals that we are trying to avoid having in the first place. So the first step here is the ABC. So A is to accumulate positive moments daily. That's things that are going to make you feel better and make your life better. Then there's B, which is building mastery. So it's doing something that you're good at. For me, I'm good at writing and I like to write. So I do that. I'm really good at music making and I love doing it. I do that pretty much every day. I like to do these videos and I think I'm pretty good at it, right? And it does give me a sense of self-esteem and a better sense of self-worth doing things that I know that I'm good at. Then there's C, which is cope ahead. And this is like planning for difficult conversations or interactions or holidays. And we'll go over those, as we get closer to the holidays. All of these skills will be really helpful. And then we have please, which is the body. This is about focusing on our actual physical body. So the P is to treat any physical illnesses and ailments that we have. L and E, eat regularly balanced meals. A is avoid mood altering substances. I like to put this contextually, right? Like maybe don't smoke a whole bowl before a job interview, unless the job interview includes that, I guess, right? But this is like, avoiding mood altering substances within context. Don't show up to work drunk kind of thing, right? Prioritizing sleep sounds so simple. I'm sure you've heard it before. I'm sure you'll hear it again. Yes, it really does help. When you're sleeping better and you get more sleep, you don't have these spirals as often and they're not as big. I promise. Sleep is legit for real. Like that will really, really benefit you if you're able to get more sleep. E is for exercise. So like doing something good for your body. So here's your homework this week. Pick one of these 3 skills to try. Maybe it's the stop skill the next time you're feeling triggered in, like a traffic incident. Maybe it's trying opposite action when you want to avoid something or someone. Or maybe it's building mastery by participating and doing something you're good at. You don't have to be perfect at this. You don't even have to be good at it because there's no such thing. You just got to try. So which skill are you going to try first? I'd love to hear from you in the comments. If you have any questions, please ask. If you like what I'm doing and you like the videos and want to support the channel, you can subscribe and like the video. And you can find me on Substack if you're curious about anything that I've covered in the video. Thanks so much for watching. And until next time, take good care of yourself.